Hello everyone and welcome back to our 9-month odyssey around the world, and today we've made it to another European capital, Copenhagen, where we're going to see the top sights of the town.
Welcome to Living Phase 2.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Nancy, and we're empty nesters striving to live life to the fullest.
And we are living that full life, going all the way around the world and taking 9 months to do it on the ultimate world cruise.
We sure are. Well, friends, today we're in Copenhagen, Denmark. It is just south of Sweden. Now, if you're going to arrive there by car, you have to take either the Orson Bridge or the Great Belt Bridge. And if you saw yesterday's video, you will know why we had to go up and around and go under the Great Belt Bridge.
Yeah, otherwise we'd be getting a little bit of a haircut on the, if we went under the Orson Bridge.
Well, our plan today is to get on one of those hop-on, hop-off buses because there's just little things to see all around Copenhagen, and we thought that will be a good way for us to see all of it.
Yeah, that combined with GPS My City, we'd kind of made a plan. We were going to tour with a couple friends of ours and just see the sights of the city. But we ran into a little bit of an issue. As you can see, as we're looking off the ship, there was a huge line to get through immigration. They were even staging people to get off the ship because it was just taking so long for Danish immigration. And then once we got through the immigration, we went to find the hop-on, hop-off bus. And we waited and waited,
and the line was long.
Yeah, there was this huge line, and a hop-on, hop-off bus never came. So finally, we bailed on all that. We had GPS My City. We knew where we were going. We just got on a city bus and took the city bus into one of their train stations so that we could then start touring the city. Now, that's because you really can't walk from the port so much in Copenhagen. It's quite a ways to get into where you can pick up some public transportation, and we were able to do that. So a little pro tip here. You need some local currency because if you're going to get on one of the city buses, they only take cash. They don't take credit cards. Now, once you get to the train station, there's ticket machines. You can buy an all-day ticket. You can use your credit card. But that first initial leg, you need to have some cash to pay the driver to then get your ticket, to then scan your ticket and go on. So that was another little difficulty we had to overcome. Finally got through all that. Probably took us a good hour, I'd say, of time to get through everything in immigration, get on the bus and get it. But we made it to the train station. We bought a train pass at that time that would then get us back and forth to the ship and everything. And we headed on our way on our touring.
Well, the first place we went to was, of course, to see the Little Mermaid.
Everybody has to see
stop here. It is a rather small statue of a mermaid. It's not large.
No, it's a beautiful statue, don't get us wrong. Very crowded, lots of people, and I think you're going to hear that as a theme today. Copenhagen, for whatever reason, on the day we arrived, I guess it was a Saturday too, was just packed. Tons and tons of people.
A number of cruise ships here too.
At least 3 cruise ships worth of people were in port, and being a weekend and having other European tourists there, it was probably one of the most crowded, busiest cities we've been to on the world cruise. And that made it not as fun. I mean, in the end, we were fine. It's a wonderful city. We're not ever saying don't go to Copenhagen, but it was awfully crowded.
Well, in using GPS My City, seeing the Little Mermaid statue, we saw the Maritime Monument or the Shipping Monument here. So that was a nice thing to see. And it walked us next to the Castle Fort.
Yeah, this is a beautiful area. So we talked about it being so crowded. This is an area where you can kind of get away from the crowds a little bit. Large area, and it's got a moat that's in a star shape that goes all the way around it. You can walk the ramparts of the fort. You can look. There actually is some historical recreation things you can go see there. It's a nice stop that is a quiet little respite from the hustle and bustle of Copenhagen, and it is right there by the Little Mermaid. There's a little bit of walking. You got to walk up these tall ramparts that look over the moat, but it's certainly worth it, and I thought that was a really nice stop. There's a beautiful windmill there.
There is.
And that was a good one. So be sure to see the Castellet if you're right there next to the Little Mermaid.
So the next thing that GPS My City is going to do is to take us into town. And as we're walking into town, we're walking past beautiful parks and canals. And it really is a lovely place, lovely, charming place to see.
Yeah, and then once we got to downtown, one of the first places it took us to was St. Anger's Cathedral. It's the Roman Catholic cathedral here in Copenhagen. We went inside. Lovely on the inside, very nice, like many European churches that we've seen. And then from there, really what we're going to do is just look at the architecture of Copenhagen. And that's where we're really starting to get into a lot of the crowds and things. So we started walking around. We saw the statue of Christian X. We saw the Old Fellows mansion. So beautiful architecture here, but quite a few people as we're walking around.
Other places that it took us to was Nicholas Art Gallery, which used to be an old church, and we went to the Fredericks Church, which was beautiful on the outside. And then we kind of got into the main square area, which overlooks Nyhavn, which is kind of their central canal area. It's their entertainment district. There's lots of restaurants and things to do in this area.
Yeah, but you're hearing this theme. It was packed. You can see shoulder to shoulder people. We're trying to get some pictures. A lot of people come here to have lunch, which was kind of our initial thought. We had picked a couple restaurants in there. Just so many people. There was no way you could even get into a place for lunch. So we got a few pictures of the quaint painted houses and things like this, which was reminiscent of Curacao, where one of the places we started the World Cruise months and months and months ago. This really reminds us a lot of that. But we went ahead and bailed on Nyhavn because we said there's just no way we're going to get a seat at a table here in this canal area. So we went to some of the side streets and we ended up finding a new place to go.
The restaurant we found was called Skindbuksen, and I had a schmorbrod here, a salmon one, and it was really good.
Yeah, the people we were with, they also had one. They had a pork belly special, so I had that, tried that. It was excellent. It was a little kitschy place, not very many seats in here. And they have a very small kitchen, and they're pretty honest. They're like, hey, if you're in a hurry, don't come here, because it takes them a while. But had a Danish beer and just enjoyed having some good conversation and good lunch with friends. But we certainly would recommend this place. We'll put a link in the description. And the nice thing being off the beaten path, it wasn't right there like in Nyhavn where you've got thousands and thousands of people trying to get tables there.
Right. Well, this really had taken us most of the day here. I mean, it may seem like a very short video here, but we did a lot of walking in this town. And a lot of the hop-on, hop-off buses, we would see them occasionally, and there were long lines. So friends, we do want to give you a bit of a warning on the hop-on, hop-off buses. We have been on some that have been very good and very enjoyable. But when you're in an area that's so crowded and you get off the hop-on, hop-off bus with the intent of getting back on, you may have to wait several cycles in order to get a seat because they're just so crowded. Some of them oversell their tickets. So just be cautious of that.
Yeah, and if you're depending on that hop-on, hop-off bus to get you back to the port, that may not always be the most reliable mode of transportation. So you may want to have a backup to that and know how you're going to get back to the port. And we've had some friends on the World Cruise here that got the hop-on, hop-off bus tickets, hop-on, hop-off bus. And
the ho-ho.
Yeah, the ho-ho. And was intending to take it back. And the line was an hour long to wait to get on the next one. They ended up having to take an Uber or a taxi to get back to the port. So, again, we're not saying don't do the ho-hos. They can be really good. Yeah. But just be careful. Some cities, you may get into a little bit of an issue with them. So.
Well, we used our public transportation to take the metro and then to take the bus and to get back to the ship. But before we leave Copenhagen, we want to mention another fun place that you might want to visit, which is Tivoli. It is basically the oldest amusement park or theme park in the world, and it's where Walt Disney has gotten a lot of his inspiration from when he was building the Disney parks.
Right, exactly. So, you may be wondering why we didn't go to Tivoli. It's because we'd been there before, and it is kind of an all-day thing. And in fact, if you can be at Tivoli at night, that's when you want to go. The park is lit up beautifully. The Chinese Turn there, or the Chinese Tower. Sorry, I'm saying German. and it really is a great place to go, whether you're there with children or not. The gardens, everything are quite beautiful. So if you are a first timer to Copenhagen, put Tivoli on your list and be sure not to miss it. You will really enjoy it. It's just that we had been there already, and we did have a limited amount of time in port here, as we quite often do on a world cruise like this. So we didn't go all the way in, buy tickets, and do Tivoli, but we highly recommend it.
Yeah, I actually think if we'd have had a really full day here, we probably would have done Tivoli rather than doing some of what we did.
Yeah. It again, been there quite a few years ago, but it is a wonderful place. So put Tivoli on your list. Well, tomorrow, Nancy?
Tomorrow we're going to Aarhus, Denmark. It's a Sunday, so we're going to go to church.
Yeah, and we go to this amazing rooftop garden with a glass floor that goes out over the city. So you're going to want to see that.
All right, friends, be sure not to miss it, and we will see you very soon. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.